Hello, good evening. This is Giriraj Singh Rathore, and you're watching Global Drive. And we have with us Anastasia Ilyushina, um, our guest from Russia, and working with a federal agency for youth affairs. We are going to have a chit chat or conversation, you can say, on various issues related with youth in India, in Russia, and in the whole world. So, welcome, Anastasia.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's start with our very first question because we need that our audience should understand that what is this about, and we just want to give this preview of this interview. So can you please introduce about yourself and tell a bit about the Federal Agency for Youth Affairs?
Sure. I work for the Federal Agency for Youth Affairs for International Department, and we deal with in the Federal Agency we have a huge ecosystem of projects, and honestly, most of our projects are inside, and are involved youth in Russia. But my department is trying to involve foreign participants, foreign students, and like to unite our Russian youth with the foreigners abroad. Yes, and so I started working in June, so I can't say that I'm like very huge specialist, but I'm trying to make something useful for my agency.
Okay, so what is your position there in the agency? And you started working in June.
I like the leading specialist in the Department of International Affairs, and it's like a minor position in the civil service system. Yes, and in my department, we like dividing our work into different spheres. So I, for example, deal with BRICS issues, with SCO issues, with China separately, like bilateral exchanges. So my country is this one, and my colleagues deal with like post-Soviet environment, Latin America, and Middle East.
I really hope that the ones who are watching us in Federal Agency of Youth Affairs, I must congratulate you guys because federal structure is such a great structure. And Anastasia, as she said, that she is working on a minor position, but still she's been sent to India and working for BRICS nation, China separately for SCOs, and you have been given such a huge responsibility. So I must congratulate federal agency for this. That you guys are doing wonderful. You guys are doing wonderful. Um, Moving forward to the next question. Like the start was very professional. I must welcome you. Welcome to India. How was your visit? How would you tell us about your visit to India?
I arrived in today's morning, and I was impressed totally, even in the airport, because I tried to find the right way out, and I couldn't. And all there are Indians that tried to help me, and finally we find the way. And even during the night, I saw this on my way to the hotel, I saw wonderful views, very green country. So it's like very unusual for me, because now in Russia -5 or 7 degrees, it's snow, and I can't believe that I was dreaming about it so many years. So I'm very glad. India is wonderful.
We are glad, and Indian youth is, you see, actually very much inspired with greenery and environment. So that's what we are doing over here. So moving ahead to our next question, tell us about the international track interaction with foreign youth of the Rosmolodez.
Mhm.
How
Okay,
is that?
yeah, it's like it's our activity of our department, and we have like different types of working with youth. Firstly, we should take into account that we under the Russian law, we consider the youth from 14 to 35 years old. It's like this group. And first of all, we have like bilateral exchanges. We have practice of signing memorandums of bilateral cooperation. For example, we have like memorandums with South Africa, India, of
And
course.
what kind of bilateral cooperation?
It's like it's like a document which confirms that sides are eager to cooperate in terms of in youth issues, to work together to deal with some problems which tackle youth in India and in Russia. I think that the situation is like a bit similar. Yeah, and with India, we of course we are trying to develop cooperation and relations so much. Yeah.
So, especially if we talk about India and Russia, the two nations with, you see, friendship as old as centuries, and we share different emotion with the people of Russia and Russian people with India. So, how the participants from India can participate in the events of Rose Molodek?
Yeah, sure. I agree with you that historically we have very strong relations, and I think we are. It's maybe like it's in a trick, but we are very different, but we are very similar altogether, because we have. I think that our youth tackles with similar problems like employment, good education, like desire to develop and to find more opportunities to develop. And our mission in the agency to show our youth that they really have the power and they have the opportunity to do more in Russia and abroad, to create projects and etc. And about participation, we have like very numerous events, and for example, I just like my
So,
responsibility about.
see, considering the agency, the federal agency, it got set up in, I guess, 2008, if I'm not wrong. 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's almost 15 years to the agency. By far, what are the biggest achievements of the agency relating to the problems of youth in Russia and in the whole world?
Yeah, I think that firstly, agency is trying to like to open the road for youth in terms of inside Russia and abroad. So we have a lot of projects that help youth to develop and to find opportunities, friends, and to create projects. So we're supporting them in their activities. And for example, we get acquainting our youth, Russian youth, with foreigners, foreign youth. We have big events like Eurasia Global. It's our annual event that collect about 1,000 participants, and about half of them like foreign participants. And I also was a participant.
That was wonderful.
It was wonderful, and it really was wonderful because you have a lot
You
of
got to know a
friends.
lot of things,
Yeah.
and such an international exposure. Well, see, I have two very valid questions, and both these questions, uh, basic questions, are about challenges which the agency faced in the past, and which you may have to face in the future. So two very important challenges I have to talk about. So let's start with the future first. uh, as we have this discussion behind camera, that Russia don't have any ministry for youth, a separate ministry for youth. India have, and the other countries in BRICS also have. Not all, but considering Russia, so there, this Federal Agency for Youth Affairs got established in 2008 and working for youth continuously since then. But what do you think that if Russian government will set up a ministry in the near future for youth, what will be the role of this agency working along with the ministry, or will it amalgamate itself in the ministry, merge itself in the ministry? And what do you think? What is the future picture of agency along with ministry?
Thank you for this interesting question. I suppose that so now we are observing some steps that in the nearest future our agency can be transformed into the Ministry of Youth, and I think that it's a logic process, and I want to consider this fact as a positive because we have like a small team. I suppose we have like about 120 people, but we should develop our cooperation with other countries and to work more inside Russia. And I think that maybe the fact that the agency can be transformed, it helps to widen our activity. So I think
Oh, that's wonderful. So why don't you try this coffee and just check it out if it is bitter or not? Because my upcoming question may sound you some bitter.
very
So,
tasty.
is it really?
Yeah.
So we are glad. Uh, so the next question is with the ministry only. Uh, do you really think that after setting up a Ministry of Youth Affairs, uh, the level of transparency uh, federal agencies having, or what we can expect from a federal agency, the level of transparency, do you think that that will be maintained in the ministry?
Yes, I think that it's I don't know what our like government rulers think about it, and I can't say like my opinion about it.
For the approach of youth,
But
if they try to approach the
I
ministry?
I think that our agency can be transformed, and it's not very like logic to create another ministry. And I think that our specialists unique. They deal with youth issues for a very long time, and we have like organizations behind like our agency that separately deals with internships, like culture, language, and etc. So they help us to widen our activity. So I think that everything will be okay. And
So I was just wondering that will we have this interview as an intellectual interview or not? But I'm not sure about me. But you are very intelligent, and this answer was diplomatic. Although,
thank you.
but that was fine. That was fine.
It's very
So
pleasant.
yeah. So you're an opportunist, optimistic. I'm sorry, optimistic girl. Okay. So the next question is, what qualities do you think that should a country or the youth of that country should have to participate in the events of Rosmolode? And tell us about the request to participation.
Sure. Honestly, I think that the main request is the interest to interest to a specific theme that have our event. So of course our events are very diverse, and we have the events that can develop your skills in media, in internship, in products, in intercultural dialogue, and etc. So firstly, interest, truly interest to this theme, desire to have to make a contribution to this sphere and make a contribution to your country. I think that because of the fact that I deal with BRICS countries, and I observe how they all they are proud of this, proud of their countries, and I think it's also a very important fact. And also skills, and I think experience in participation in other events. Like,
Have you ever organized any event?
yes.
Oh, that's nice. So what was your memory about that event? How hard you worked for that, or how memorable it was?
You know that I consider it's a very tough activity to organize event, but in the end, you relax and you can see the result, and you understand that everything was right, and you made good job, and the most important fact, when your participants thank to you, and it's like a very emotional moment, yes, for me. I think that we are the specialist of the federal agency. Firstly, we should about our participants, their interests, their comfort, their results, and yeah, it's very hard, but in the end, it's very cool to organize. Yeah.
So India is having this mentality, I would say, or we have this thing in our mind that what we consider the world as. So India considered the world as one family. So we have this phrase in Sanskrit. You know, Sanskrit is a language in India.
Yeah, sure.
So it's Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the world is one family. Although the world is one family, but still there is this question that why do you think that the Indian youth should be interested in the Russian youth events?
I think that we have already mentioned that India and Russia historically have very friendly relationships, and I think that our youth have similar interests, and we can be Russian youth can be beneficial for Indian youth, and Indian youth can be beneficial for Russian youth, and I think that sometimes, honestly, and between us, that our governments don't consider youth policy is very important direction of policy. But when I started to work in the federal agency, I understood how youth policy can affect the policy of nation in general, and I hope that our activity and our exchanges between our youth can help to become our nations better, bigger, and more powerful.
I remember, the days of my school when we had this cultural exchange program. So, my school in the province of Rajasthan in India. So we shared this cultural exchange program with the school in Russia. So I don't remember much of the what actually happened because I was in class 8, and see, it's been almost, I would say, maybe 7 or 8 years, or maybe long. So yeah, I think that the connection, the bond which we want to be there in the youth of different nation of the world, we should start it from the early age. We should actually, you see, take our children
Mm-hmm.
to different nations and let them aware about the culture of that nation, about the tradition of the nation, and how can we participate with each other. So that's what I think. And Indian youth, you see, we are 65%
Mm-hmm.
in youth, and India is such a young country. Actually, should cooperate with each other, with every country. But I don't know if you found this question tricky or what. But if Federal Agency for Youth Affairs is working with every nation, uh, are you guys also working with Ukraine? And what's your experience about this? If you have worked with any Ukrainian youth, and
Yeah.
what's their response? What's Ukraine's response?
Yeah, very tricky question. Unfortunately, I just I can't say about the position of agency in this term, this sphere, but also we we consider equally all youth around the world. So for me, it doesn't matter if like the young representative from Ukraine, United States, India, Russia, and etc. I want to like to develop this young representative. I want to help him or her. So I think that now like Ukrainian youth is in struggling because of political and economical situation in the country, and we should help them, of course, because we are like it's our we have the same age with like we are young people and we should help
That
each other.
is an extremely tremendous, mature answer, and I must congratulate you. That you see, I think that the governments of Russia and Ukraine should think like you. Actually, should think like you. Should think for the youth. Should think for the newborns, for the ladies, for the underprivileged in both the countries, and should actually, you see, come to. Come to a very parallel and come to a very common decision which should be made for both the countries, for the welfare of both the countries. And that was a very nice answer, and I must congratulate you.
Thank
So
you.
to your opinion, what directions of cooperation should develop our countries in youth policy in order to strengthen the relationship between India and Russia?
Yes, I think that we have a lot of ties and like topics of cooperation, and maybe the most like important spheres for our exchanges. I suppose media. Yeah, sure. Media, internship, maybe creative industries. I know that India is very interested in this sphere, and Russia is also. So intercultural dialogue, and because we have like both in India, in Russia, a lot of languages, like a small divergence of nations, and we are like have very big and powerful cultural cultural heritages here. So we should cooperate in all spheres, I suppose, because we are good countries.
Coming to the cooperation, so you have organized that event. May I have the number of youth, or any rough idea that how many youth would have participated in that event from India?
Um, I think it's very difficult to calculate like their because we have in Russia we don't have only the federal agency. We also have like smaller organizations, for example, in volunteerism and etc. So I suppose that so in my practice, I've like seen about 100 Indians, I suppose.
Oh my God, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, out of 1,000 participants, half of them were from foreign countries, apart from Russia, and in those 500, also 100 were Indians. I'm extremely glad. I'm extremely glad. By the way, you're working for BRICS with the BRICS country,
Yes.
with the BRICS nation. So, what is your experience of working with BRICS nation? And you must have worked with the youth of Brazil, the youth of India, South Africa, China. So how's the experience so far with other countries?
So I love BRICS countries. I think since the first year of my studying in the university, I studied BRICS. I started studying BRICS as like not organization, like it's format of dialogue, and yes, in our federal agency we have like project offices. It's such a format. We create project office, for example, in the region, so not in the center in Moscow, but in region. And we have project office of BRICS countries in Ulyanovsk region, and we have a number of events with BRICS nations. And my favorite event is the BRICS International Youth Camp. This year it will be for the third time. So I welcomed all the Indians to participate because we are preparing so hard to make this event more and more like interesting for
If we
youth.
talk about
Yeah.
events, are a part of our tradition, I would say, a part of Indian tradition. So we do celebrate, and we actually create any moment into an event. So we what we do is like, in India there's this Kumbh Mela we organize, and that is considered to be world's biggest event, devotional fair, where a lot of lakhs and thousands devotees do come to the cities where the river banks are. Okay, and so the Kumbh Mela is especially for the devotees who wants to worship the river. And in such big events, India has actually celebrated and organized such events during COVID as well. And that was something wonderful, to which WHO also appreciated our work, that we have organized that very well. And otherwise, that would have been a burst of COVID, So, talking about events, India is, I guess, having a mastery in it. So, yes, of course. Uh, well, actually, our prime minister himself, turned any normal moment into an event. So that's what the youth from India can definitely cooperate with Russia and with other BRICS nation. How was your experience, working in COVID? Since this is an old organization, you guys are working since last 15 years. How was the time of COVID?
So it was hard time, of course. These years I studied studied at the university, so I didn't work for the agency. But of course, the situation like with the COVID cut a lot of ties between youth because all the countries should be concentrated inside in order to save their people. But I know that our agency organized online events in order to support our ties. Yeah, but for me especially it was hard time because I want I love people, I love to communicate, I love to go to university, and once you can't do it, and it was very difficult for me, but hopefully.
So my last question before we end this interview is that India is heading G20 this year. G20 is such a huge group of nations, 20 most powerful nation in the world. What are the opportunities federal agency is looking or with this event? With G20, with India, as we are heading this year G20, and what kind of cooperation are you guys looking for?
Of course, our agency is considered G20 is good format for cooperation, and we try to use it. And now we are collecting the youth delegation in order to participate in the youth summit in August in India. So we now we have a lot of interviews. We have interviews with participants, with the future participants, and we cover them all their payments. And I hope that our five or seven best youth delegates will participate in the youth summit.
Even I'm looking forward that I'm hoping that you'll come into India
I
again in
hope to.
August, and we'll have some more words. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us, Anastasia.
Thank you very much.
This was Anastasia Ilyushina with us, and she discussed and answered all of my questions very maturely and very fine answers, what I was expecting actually. And it was nice having.
Yeah, you're a very
you.
good interviewer. So
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Signing off. Thank you so much.